All right, so we are going to move on to a new genre. The genre that we are on now is called autobiography. This is a story of a person's life that is written by that person. And who knows you better than yourself? Some examples that we have here are I Am Malala, the Definite Edition Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank, and Barack Obama, The Audacity of Hope. So with an autobiography, the prefix auto, A-U-T-O, means self. Bio, B-I-O, means life. So this is a text about your own life. The great thing about autobiographies means that that person had to be alive at that time when they wrote their own story. Some of the elements of an autobiography is the same as the elements of a biography. A biography is a story about someone else's life written by someone else. So notice that we don't have that prefix auto, which means self, because this is not written by themselves, by that person about themselves. So we have setting. This is the time and place that affects the character's life. Next, we have the characters. These are real life characters. The main character is the subject of the autobiography because we're talking about autobiographies right now. Sequence. This is the real life events in order in which they happen, kind of like a timeline. And then we have the theme. This is an inspiring message, the lesson learned. Usually, if a person is writing an autobiography, or even if they have a biography, that person had to be really important in history, and usually they have an inspiring message, something that's going to uplift others. Here we have a tip. Also think about the author's point of view, which we will talk more about tomorrow. Here is one more resource or anchor chart that we can use to learn about autobiographies. So it says, what is an autobiography? An autobiography is a text that is written to inform the reader about a real person's life. The author of the text is the person featured in the autobiography. So it is nonfiction, real life facts and information. Characteristics of an autobiography. The author is the person featured in the autobiography. It is written in first person. It uses I, me, and my as the pronouns. Shares important events and details from the person's life, and all the events are true. So if it is a famous, well-known autobiography, that person is most likely a famous, well-known person. But anybody can write their own autobiography. Why do authors write autobiographies? Authors write autobiographies to inform the reader about their actual life. They want to share the important events that shaped who they are. And this is usually to help motivate or inspire someone. So they're trying to give you a positive message, a positive theme. Examples of autobiographies are Boy, Tales of Childhood by Ronald Dahl, Red Scarf Girl by Jai Lee Jang, 26 Fairmont Avenue by Tommy De Paola, Bill Pete, an autobiography by Bill Pete. Okay, so we are going to look at this short example of an autobiography, and then we are going to talk about theme. So the educational autobiography of Nicholas Baker. My name is Nicholas Baker. I was born and raised in Roanoke, Virginia. I went to public school for a little while, and then I was homeschooled up until high school. I went to William Fleming High School in Roanoke, Virginia, and graduated with honors, including IB credit. I then decided to attend Virginia Western Community College in Roanoke. After my time at Virginia Western, I then transferred to Virginia Tech to earn a bachelor's degree in history in the hope of becoming a high school history teacher someday. After I earned my bachelor's, I decided to enroll in Virginia Tech's social science teaching licensure program, where I'm taking classes. My love for history, social sciences, learning and education in general stretches as far back as when I was being homeschooled. Since being homeschooled, I've always been enarmed with the beauty of history and by its ugliness. The first time that I really saw my passion for history blooming is when I was homeschooled by my mother using a program from Baltimore, Maryland called Calvert. The Calvert program focused primarily on the social sciences, math, science, and English. When I was in the Calvert program, my first history text was A Child's History of the World by Virgil M. Hillier. This book showed me the overall importance of history and how history impacts our lives daily. After reading A Child's History of the World, I began to read many more historical textbooks and history books in general. I was always enthralled by ancient civilizations. I was fascinated by how ancient civilizations existed and how they functioned day to day, for example, like the ancient Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians. I was always fascinated by ancient cultures and how they were different from one another and yet alike. When I was homeschooled, I started to look at the overall historical narrative and how it penetrated my life at that moment in time, and how we as humans constantly make choices, whether good or bad, that lead us down sometimes an unknown path. My time being homeschooled was wonderful, and that I was able to talk to both my parents at the time about my interest in history, and so we developed a discourse between us. My mother was pivotal in that she was a genuine inspiration, and she kept my interest alive by helping me develop the necessary educational skills to appreciate history and social studies by teaching me how to read, write, and analyze. I will never forget all those discussions we had about history, government, and geography. So we're going to pause here because this does go on for a few more pages. I just wanted you to get a general idea of what an actual autobiography looks like.